Hey, shoot us! Shoot us! Shoot us! Shoot us! Please shoot us! Kill us!
This viral video of people shouting, "Shoot me, kill me" at airport staff has led to a range of reactions, with many seeing this as people with privilege throwing a tantrum for not getting what they want, even in the face of a global pandemic. But one of the women from the video got in touch with us to explain what happened that day. She says that the man shouting, "Shoot me" is diabetic, and they had had no food all day.
When it was my turn to go in for my thermal testing, they stopped and they said there are some people with temperature. We want to just pick them in, on priority. And we said, okay, fine. I mean, that makes sense. So there were some 50, 70, maybe my numbers are not, I mean, I wasn't really counting, but I would think around that much, who had fever. And they were checking them again and probably to isolate them. But I must tell you, Ms. Mukherjee, that by the time all this finished, we saw all of them as part of our, group. So
Right.
while they were first told that they had fever and things like that, but finally they all joined the same group. And we were standing in the queue, and after the queue, after the thermal checking, we were all told that you had no fever, no nothing. Yet in the form, firstly they said the forms were wrong and this is a new form, whatever. But then they said no, you will be quarantined. Queue. So we were all prepared for quarantine. I
Right.
just want
Yeah.
to clarify that, okay? And we said, what next? So when we went there, our passport was taken away from us, and we were wondering why. But they never, nobody said anything. By then it was, almost lunchtime, and people were getting a little, there was no water around. I mean, we are talking. This is the area before the immigration, so there was nothing, absolutely nothing. Just the 1,500, 2,000 from 3 flights, Germany, France, and probably, I think, from one of the Middle East countries. I'm not very sure because I heard a person say that. Okay.
Right.
Now, we don't know each other, right? We don't know any of those people. And that's where our situation is. These people are all standing, some are sitting, and everybody, some of them wearing masks, and, the masks are dirty because it's from yesterday and they didn't have any mask to give us, new masks to give us. The only thing that was available was a toilet, the airport clean toilet, and the water was from the fountain. But then we said, no, we want some food. We were really hungry. We had not had the breakfast. The last night is when we had eaten, and so we were all hungry. So they said, yeah, yeah. And some gentleman came and he said, we assure you we'll give you food and all. So we were all prepared. Actually, nothing happened at that point of time. And then some water and some juice came in, which was not given to everybody because obviously they had limited thing. And by the time some of them went, it was all over. Anyway, but just to give you an idea, by then I was looking around what kind of people. There were pregnant women, there were people with infants, there were old senior citizens. Okay, and so these are the kind of people who were there. We were still okay. We were all sitting around and whatever. And then, they started announcing with the passport and all these passports, while we had been given a number for each of them. Like, initially we were given a number 327 or whatever it is. Suddenly we saw this guy coming in with a carton full of those passports. So it was jumbled, and then they started reading out one after the other. It took us almost 2 hours. I mean, I've written those at that point of time. I was actually listing it down. The time, etc., you can look at that note of mine. And then they were reading it out now. My husband and I were there. So my husband's name came, but mine didn't. So he had to wait. So what happens is they were giving 50-50 to each, some gentleman who would take us. Like, and so now that my husband's name has come and I don't know when my name would come, there is no point giving my husband. So, that passport was promptly taken back. So you can imagine the chaos. There are people with 5 family members. And so if one person comes, it's all the others, they have to wait. So it goes back, it comes, goes back, and 50 people. And somehow we managed to find my passport. And then the two of us, we were taken by this gentleman, some 50 odd passports in his hand. He wouldn't give it to us. He wouldn't even let us touch it. I mean, everybody comes with this thing that feeling was like, they don't trust us. I mean,
Right.
you all have come from there and you're not trusted. So there was this lady screaming, saying that somebody has been given preference. Okay. And one led to the other. And before you knew, People were screaming, saying that you didn't give us food, and now see you're giving preference to people. And that was when that gentleman was screaming, "Kill us!" I mean, he was obviously. So I went up to him and I said, "What happened?" I mean, so he said, "No, it's just that my I have a diabetes condition, and I'm not eating, and there is nothing." Okay, there and just and everybody, it's a mob mentality. You must appreciate that. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but let me tell you, one person starts, everybody else follows, and so
Right.
there were one after the other people coming with their concerns. Some
Hmm.
of their concern was food. Some of them said, there is some discrimination being showed. Some of them said that my form was rejected. The one which was approved there has been rejected here. So, multiple people were talking. And the people sitting on the immigration said, "We don't know, call the boss." And the boss came and he was extremely rude to us. Maybe he had no idea and whatever. That made people even more mad. See the sequence of event. People, I mean, while I read the tweet, and I was just thinking people should have been there. By then, you were tired, hungry, sleepy, scared. You don't know if this is the way. When are we going to? It was already almost 3 o'clock. When would we go? When will the testing happen? And we were wondering, why is the testing not happening in the airport itself? I mean, there was so much space. And plus, if all this is not enough, there were some people with fever who we could see with along with us. That made us nervous.
The problem really seems to be the fact that there was no clarity about what was happening. They were told that they would be quarantined, but they weren't. They were told that they would all be tested, but no one was. People with a fever were separated from the rest and then mixed back into the crowds. But is screaming at staff who probably didn't have the answers themselves the solution to such a situation? Let's hope a more systematic protocol has been established by the authorities for the sake of the public and for the sake of their own staff. This is Suryataba Mukherjee for Mojo.